Hi, it's Jill Goodell again, and what I want to talk about are pen and ink supplies, and then we'll do some techniques. I may have to make that into a part two. Talking about the dip pen this time as opposed to the pre-filled pens, which I can do in another video. This is a Speedball, and it's 512, and this is the pen holder. As you can see, there's a little round thing there, and you can just put your pen, your nib, that's what this is called, in there. I really like this one. It's called the 512. There's also different numbers, but I enjoy the 512 more than anything. You can get the 513 as well. You will get this one in a package. And then the Crow Quill, they sometimes are sold together, and the Crow Quill is a Speedball also. And the reason it's called a Crow Quill is because it has the body of the old feathers, which a Crow Quill was created. That's what they made. They used bird feathers, of course, for their pens. Matter of fact, Tom Jefferson had an entire farm of geese so he could harvest the Crow Quills. Then you also, and there's a Crow Quill, the pen holder is different, so you have to get a separate pen holder. On the Japanese market, you can get this kind of thing. This is similar to a Crow Quill, and it's got this, and this is called a Maru, and it's a mapping, was used for mapping, and then you can use the Deletter, which can take the small one, but also the larger one. So this is the Deletter holder, and this is their Maru nib. This is the Saji, and I really like this. I'm using Deletter, but I'm using the larger circle out there, and I really like this one. It's a 357. The demo that I will be doing today on techniques will be with using the Speedball 512. There are literally gobs of nibs out there right now, so you can try each one. Unfortunately, if you buy most of these nibs, they're going to be, you have to buy 10 at a time. You might go to a local art store and they may have a nice collection of different nibs. They cost about maybe $1 or $2 a piece. Okay, so that's the pens. Now we go back into the ink. Now there's all kinds of different inks going on today. When I started doing this, you basically could just get Indian ink. It was either Higgins or Speedball, and that was it. Now, one of the things that you really want to make sure about is that it says waterproof. Archival does not make it. You've got to have waterproof, and Higgins has a tendency to sell archival and waterproof, so look for that waterproof. So you have Higgins and also Speedball. Then this new product, not terribly new, but Bombay Black. It also comes in colors, which is really fabulous. This is a very good ink. These cost in the $2 to $3, maybe $4 market. Then these are Indian ink. This is acrylic inks, and this is FW, and they come in a lot of colors. And then you have Liquitex. I love these two for doing a lot of color work because of those, and they are a little bit shinier than the India ink. The other thing is, how do you hold these? You know, they can spill so easily. So what I do is I take a yogurt cup and I just put the Higgins or whatever bottle in, open it up and lay the top over to the side, and then I can dip. And I'm not worried about, first of all, putting ink on my table. I don't have to worry about it tipping. It's really nice. I also use these. I got this at the Dollar Tree, and same principle. So you can get those two. But if you're painting or drawing, sorry, where I do a lot of drawing in front of the TV, and I've tried this method and I've had some problems. So I've taken a sponge and I've put a hole in the sponge to accommodate the ball, the jar. And I've also, there's these droppers, so you want to clean that out as much as you can. All of them have droppers. And then I've carved in a little hole for the thing itself. So that way I can be doing this and it's not going to make a mess. And if something spills, it's soaked up by the sponge. I really like this. So, And that's for the inks. I will be using India ink for this. And then the other thing is for cleaning. So the best thing to do is I use a paper towel, and then I use the sanitizer hands. And when at the end of the day, just pour a little bit of this Windex into a bowl and just dump your nibs inside the bowl, and that will really clean it. Wonderful. Windex is a wonderful cleaner for this. You don't really need to go out and buy pen cleaners. The other thing about the cleaning is when you put your nibs in here to clean, you want to take them out and clean them and dry them, I should say, and then also store them separately. This is not good to just keep your pen like that. You should always store them separately because you're going to get a lot of rust down here eventually. So that's the materials part. I'll get into paper in a second. When looking for papers for your pen and ink, it's best to look for a smooth surface. You can use illustration board like this from Crescent, and you can get them at different sizes now online. Or you can get this paper. It's called DeLetter comic book paper, and it's excellent paper. It's used by a lot of comic artists, and it's wonderfully smooth. It doesn't have the kind of weight that will take watercolor, but it will take markers. And it's 135 kilograms, which I'm not really sure what that translates into, but it's not very thick. The other paper that I use a lot is Bristol. I used to use this a lot in the advertising business, and this is smooth. It's 300 series. This is Strathmore. It's smooth versus vellum, which is bumpy, and it's 100 pound. It's a very nice, I like this also because this size, because I can just cut it into sizes that I like. Used very much by artists, comic book artists. You can also use in the same the same company, Strathmore, they have now these visual journals, and this one is Bristol Smooth. Be careful, make sure you get the smooth, not the vellum. And I like this one because it has 100 pound also, but it's because it's bound. I like that because I can keep a diary of things. The other one that I use is the visual journal, but it's their mixed media. And I like this because it's 140 pound, but it's vellum finish, so you've got to be aware of that. Now, it does take wet and dry, and I've done a lot of good work on this one. It's a real friendly piece of paper, and I've done some stippling, and then this one to show you how I did some stippling, and then I did this in acrylic paint. So you can do that, and there's not a lot of wrinkling and such. So this is both pieces, both visual journals are wonderful. This one being smooth, this one's not. This one has a higher poundage weight, this one doesn't. 100 pounds fine though. You can probably get some good stuff, some good, a light wash on that. This is the Strathmore 500 series. Everything else is 300. This is the top line. This is their premium paper. And I use this not only for my pen and ink, but I also use it for my my colored pencil. It's an extremely good paper. You can't get this at your art store. It's not readily available in the art stores. You normally have to buy this online. These visual journals and this Strathmore you can get in the art store. And they work perfectly fine. This is just if you're really wanting to have the best of best papers. The other paper that you can use is watercolor paper. And I would suggest hot press. And this is hot press. It's an Arches or Arche block. So the paper is already done. I use this a lot for my colored pencil. I use hot press watercolor paper. It is 100% cotton, and it's very nice. You can also use your regular cold press watercolor paper too, but you have to be careful that it's not too fibrous, because sometimes the fiber will be picked up by the the point of your nib. So you want to be careful about that. But this is, Arches is a good brand, Fabriano is a good brand. It just makes sure that it's 100% cotton, and that 140-pound weight would be great, but you can go down as low as 90, again for light watercolor washes. So that covers the paper section. Next we'll be doing part 2, which is the technique.